All right, so let's pick up where we left off from part one. In part one, just looking at my screen, we went ahead and set up the artboard and template and layers. And right now, your layers should look like this. I'll go ahead and move that out so you can see. You've got your template down here, and if you did it correctly, it'll be different. Now, if you don't see that, and maybe even your template is unlocked, well, it should be locked. But if you don't see the weird little symbol here, then you can always double click in this space right after the title, or that's also going to the options for that selected layer. So in this case, if I select this and then go up here, notice it now says options for template. So I can go there. All right, so it's the same thing as double clicking right here. But in here, let's say you forgot, or maybe you found an image and you want to trace it in, you can instantly turn any layer into a template just by clicking or checking this box. You can also change the opacity of your image, if you want it to be lighter or darker. And of course, naming it is always a good idea. All right, notice I'm working with locked layers. You want to always isolate where you're working. Notice I've also selected color 8. There's no order here. In fact, most likely this is going to be uh, dropped down in the layers, and it's going to be out of order because we've designated 3 colors to be our base color. And so those colors will most likely have to be under all the other colors. So let's actually start with the largest shape, and that is going to be the car. And the base color for the car, I'm going to go ahead and choose my mid-tone number 8 here for the color green. This means we're going to go ahead and start with the pen tool, and we're going to make sure that our pen tool is set up, no fill. So I'm going to go over to my toolbar and I'm going to disable the fill. I'm going to put the stroke on top so that if I do change the color or something like that, then I can at least have stroke available. And now I'm going to choose a spot to start. Now this is our base color. So what we agreed on, or what we came to the conclusion, is that that's the majority color. And so when you're working with layers, you want to work with that majority color because you don't want to try to piece these together, try to make this shape right in here, make it close to this shape, and then put another little shape. You can use layers and you can layer your smaller shapes on top. So let's get started so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. We're going to trace the entire car. So let's start with the hood, okay? And we're going to not do line segments. Let's try to avoid line segments because they make our lines jagged and we want a nice smooth curve. So I'm just going to come all the way up here to the bottom of the windshield, and knowing what I know about the pen tool, I'm going to go ahead and use the handles to get it to fit the car there. Now, right now, it wants to go in this direction, northeast. I need it to go, well, let's say it wants to go east. I need it to go northeast. So, knowing that handles control the curves, I can quickly switch to the anchor point tool by holding Alt. I'm going to select this handle and I'm going to redirect it. Now notice I'm not like, oh, way up here, because then my curve would be too tall for this. So all and I want to do in this case is just let Illustrator know, hey, I want to go in this direction instead. So a short handle right here is all that's needed. And look at that. It goes right up. So I told you we're tracing the whole car. So that means, yes, we are getting the windshield as well. And we'll just place the windshield on there when we need it. I'd say right about here. The resolution isn't that great on here, so let's just guesstimate that the curve is right here We can always adjust it. And we're going to make a smooth curve. It's not a corner. So I'm actually going to kind of go northeast. Sorry, that's Sky. She just discovered her squeaky toy. I'm going to come way over here, and I see the hood is curved there, so I'm going to use this. Okay. And if it works out, notice my handle is going somewhat in the direction of the back part of the car there. So maybe I'll adjust it just a little bit with Alt so I can quickly switch to the Alt key while I'm dragging, and it'll allow me to adjust that handle, and now I can go right into that direction. All right. Looks like we're able to choose our direction from here. I'm going to hold the space bar and move over a little bit. That's just because I'm zoomed in. Maybe you're zoomed out. All right, nice little curve right there in the trunk there, and get that to match just a little bit. But now I need to go kind of straight down, so I'm going to immediately hold the Alt key while holding that handle. See, I'm doing this while I'm dragging the handle out, so you're kind of not seeing me switch to the other tool. Okay, we go to the back part right here and get that curve. Slight new direction here. I'm going to go down holding Alt. Another little curve. All right, new direction, hold Alt, and let's get under the car here. All right, now look, we're not gonna be greedy here. We're gonna go ahead and make this curve in two. We're gonna split it up. So let's start. Let's kind of put it right in the middle there, and let's make that first curve so we can go kind of straight across. Actually, we can go west. And then we can leave it that way, and it'll automatically let us go down and create, because it's kind of a perfect curve, this wheel well is. Click and drag, redirect, Alt, and we're going under the car. Notice I'm not doing long handles here. I'm just telling Illustrator which way to go next when I hold that Alt key. I'm going to split this up in half again, right about there. We can go straight across. Look at that. That's going to let me come down here, and that fits perfectly. Nice. But I'm going to click and drag because I want to get that to fit, but I also have to redirect. There we go. So up, and then curve right here. Alt to redirect. Actually, yeah, let's just go straight up. Actually, you can just go ahead and, yeah, you can click once and close it. All right, let me make that a different color maybe so it stands out a little bit more. I can double click and get to the layer options again, and let's go with like a lime color so you can see. Okay, and a little bit better. There you go. Okay, so that's the benefit of changing the colors of your assigned layers, because then you can see the selections a little bit better for contrast, or assign certain colors to certain layers. Okay, so that is now 8. Okay, and here's the little trick that I like with having the color palette. You're probably like, oh, it's just a reference, but no, it's actually kind of more than that. Imagine that we had just finished tracing, like, maybe about 4 or 5 different shapes. And so let's say we needed to fill them all at once. Well, check it out. I can select all of the items or objects on that layer using the what I call the donut, but click to target, drag to move, appearance. That's what it's called, and it's really a weird name. Also tells you indicate selected art. But either way, I can select this, and when I do that for the main layer, okay, because these are sub layers, then it selects everything inside. And I think we figured that out by now. But when I do that, I can then come over here to the eyedropper. And the eyedropper is a really neat tool to learn here or use, because it can absorb styles, color, anything. All right. And so when I select this 8, you can imagine that it's going to take all the characteristics of this selected object and it's going to apply it to all the selected objects down here. Not only that, but the reason I asked you not to have a stroke on these is because if we did, then of course when we select this, then this would also have a stroke and we don't want that. So check it out. I'm going to go ahead and use that. Click on 8 and it fills it with that color. Okay. So that's a really cool way to get your traced objects all painted all at once and incorporate your color palette into the mix. Okay. All right, we are done with 8. So we can now turn that off because we need to see the car to trace more. Let's continue with the car and let's now go with the 7. All right. Now, this is where I was saying, you're going to need to rearrange your layers. So I'm going to actually take layer 7, and because it's the shadow down here, and I think I'm also going to use it underneath the mirror right here, but I'm going to go ahead and move that on top of color 8 because it has to be seen on top. Okay, you get it? So now I'm going to go ahead and unlock 7 and keep it highlighted. I don't have to worry about 8 because it's turned off. I don't need to lock it, all right, because it's turned off. All right. Illustrator won't accidentally let me do anything on that. So we're on 7, okay? We're going to take that pen tool again, and let's plan this out. So there's a shadow right here in the front. There's a separate shadow right here in the lower section, and then there's a shadow in the back. And then I think I'm also going to do the mirror right here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I'm working too far away. Yeah, there we go. I guess I'll start on the outside. Okay. Oh, first rule of pen tool. I did not follow it, did I? All right, so let's set that up. Let me undo. Control Z. Okay, get rid of that last anchor too. All right, so let me get ready here. Sorry about that. Let me turn off the fill, enable the stroke only, and now I think I'm good to go. All right, looks like my layer color is black. So there we go. Start out with a curve and Alt to redirect. Get under here. And I clicked once. I didn't need to drag, if you're wondering how I got it to be, loose like this. I didn't need to drag because it's a corner point. Okay, so I can just click once and it'll be fine. Come up right about here. You can judge, where the actual shadow is. If you feel like it's up here more, whatever works for you. But I'm gonna double back now. And I think I can pull this off just by, yeah, doing that. And then I'll redirect and finish the shape. Okay. I just noticed maybe I can add a little detail up here too, so I'll do a little bit of a shadow right here. And this is going to be a really sharp one, so I'm going to go back, make a really sharp corner point. Just a little sliver right there. Yeah, a little sliver of a shape right in there. And then a shadow. I think this is actually lower. When you trace something, you don't have to be exact, folks. It doesn't have to be exact. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of doing this effect? You're making an abstract version, and I'm going to go ahead and curve that, of what this is. It's not meant to be the exact thing. So don't get caught up in that much detail. Okay. All right. Redirect. Oh, this guy's being really good. She's letting me work here and not squeaking her toy. I Better not say too much or she will. Oh, and I just realized there's a handle here too. We should probably get that. Let's get that too. Or it could be the mid-tone. It's the shadow. Really thin, thin, thin curve. Maybe even sort of a trapezoid type shape. You can pull that off. And then the mirror. Oh, there she goes. See? I think I can get a curve right out of that. Redirect. And then it's just one click, two click right in there. That's what I'm kind of seeing. Maybe actually, let me move this. Good to zoom in sometimes, right? I can use that direct select. Look at that. We're editing. And then I'll get the mirror after that. Okay. You can always add more. Maybe you'll come across more details, and like I said, just don't get too overwhelmed with details or crazy with details. So here's that little trick that I was just talking about. Now is a really good time to use it. We're gonna go ahead and say select the little donut. You see all the objects are selected here. Might not look like it, but this is also selected. And then I can just take that eyedropper, and this is number 7, so I'll just select 7. Now let's take a look at what that looks like so far on top of 8. All right, and deselect. And so that's where we are so far. Look at that. All right. So we got another arrangement issue here. Now that I have included the mirror and the handle, it appears that the highlight, which is 9, that's now going to have to be sandwiched between 7 and 8. So I'm going to move that between 7 and 8. Okay. See how that works? And because I'm done with 7 and 8, those will get turned off. 9 is going to be highlighted. Okay. And now we have another part to trace here. So we can complete the car itself, or the 7 to 9 range of colors here. All right. So I'm going to take that pen tool again. Oh, do I need to set it up? Yes, I do. Fill is on none. Stroke is on enabled. And here we go with the highlight. All right. Oh, I hear you, girl. Get it. Okay, I'm thinking maybe up here a little bit. Little curve right in there. Not worried about being exact. I'm just worried about getting the aesthetic here. I'm going to the middle of those curves there, by the way. That's where I'm picking my anchors. And finish it out right there. Okay, fix that a little bit. Yeah, I could have added another anchor in there. So I'm gonna add one with my add anchor point tool. Again, knowing what we know about editing, you should be able to change things. You should never have to start over. Please don't start over. There you go. I think that looks a little bit better. All right. One more highlight. All right, let's just get to that pen tool. Zoom in. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. should come up a little bit. I just grab my direct select tool, and I am going to change this one to a corner point. Take that anchor point tool, and that allows me to move one handle. There you go. Yeah. So take a look at that before I zoom out. All right, I think that's the highlights there. So I'll select and color it with the eyedropper, choosing 9. I might even make that a little bit lighter too, now that I see it. I'm going to turn on the other ones. Oh, no. And there we go. Let's see if that kind of comes together. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. All right. Shape and form combined with value. Value is the lightness and darkness of a color. We're not made of lines, folks. We have shading. We have, you know, effects from lighting, but we don't have lines. So here's where you can, before you move on to the next group, all right, this is where you can do a little bit of touch up. I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder, I think I might just keep it here and see what you guys come up with, you know, in your work. The wheels and, you know, maybe see if you kind of get it. I'm just going to do some adjusting here. A lot of adjusting, actually. Get this to match up a little bit more. Just using that direct select tool. And you can switch to your anchor point tool when you need to. And yeah, at first when you use it, it's going to move both handles, but then you can move the other one back. So yeah, that's the only little thing you might not like. I'm not afraid to, you know, mess up here because I know I can go back and fix things. You know, that's the thing you gotta understand is that you can always go back and adjust and fix. I know it's a little tedious, but once you get better at it, it won't be so intrusive to your design process. It'll just become a part of it. Gotta get that. Oh. Now, I will admit that's a little bit frustrating is the fact that I can't. There we go. I need to get this right about there, I think. Spacebar. Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Actually, the first time I've ever put that little shadow in there, I usually leave it out. So I'm just moving around with my spacebar, making adjustments. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm might do part 3 if necessary, but I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. I want to see if you're getting this process, if it's working for you. 'Cause if I just give you all the answers, then what are we really getting out of this? So let me match this up real quick. And if you're wondering how am I getting them lined up so quickly, it's because hey, Illustrator has a snap feature and it snaps, and you should kind of feel like when something is connecting with something else, and it's really useful. View, and I think it's snap to pixel, snap to point. All those are on right there. Well, look at that. I don't know about you, but that's a cool looking vector challenger, in progress right there. So, we've got, either group. You can do your one, twos, and threes. You can do your four, fives, and sixes. Your one, twos, and threes are going to be your tires, okay, and also your glass, okay, and your grill. All right, so there's going to be quite a few ones, I'm going to say, in here: the tire, the grill, the front windshield, and probably this one too. So quite a few of those to consider. And then when you're ready, I would do four, fives, and sixes last, because that's my suggestion. And start with five because it's your base, just like you're going to start with one. And most likely, yeah, your order is going to stay similar to what you have. To help you out, maybe I would say I'll lock these. And let's say if I had to do a four, five, six order, your highlights are six, and that is already on top. Your midtones, I think it's going to work out just like this, okay? With four being, uh, oh, actually, with five being the base. So it's six, four, five. Yeah, that's actually what it's going to be. This has to be above your one, twos, and threes because your rims are on top of your tire. So, the order of your one, twos, and threes, let's see. The base color is already one, so that's good. I think actually, I do think this one's already in order because one is the base. So the only change is six, four, five. So bring that five underneath the four. Let me know if that works out. Oh, that's next class. All right, so till next time, we are using layers to stack our colors and shapes, and we're tracing with the pen tool as we begin our vector tracing in preparation for your vector portrait. All right, till next time.